Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a quick look here again at Bitcoin. Wow, we took a nice little dip here, right folks? Wow, the price action pulled back pretty significant, about 4, almost 5% at its lowest point there. Traditional, altcoins getting destroyed as per usual. It's kind of standard stuff. You could have shorted pretty much anything and had success. Again, to my community, I don't like to send shorts out unless I get confirmation, and with the price action of Bitcoin looking like it wanted to hold that support level, there's no reason to have taken any shorts because it hadn't broken fully bearish. While we did look at the analysis yesterday and we had some signs that the price action was going to pull back, we were expecting a bearish backtest first. So hypothetically, the price pulled up to that $70,000 resistance. That's when I was going to consider shorting. So at this point, FOMO, whatever you want to call it, it's normal, folks. It's okay. People battle with it all the time. But again, newer traders are going to overtrade markets like this. So please, please, please just try to pump the brakes. Relax. It's okay. You don't have to make $1 million on these kind of situations here. A lot of times waiting for confirmation can be challenging because you wait for that confirming factor and the price moves very fast before you get there. So it happens. Anyways, I'm just trying to normalize the fact that this is pretty standard stuff. While it wasn't as quite of a knee-jerk reaction as last time, the market is still responding poorly to this drop-off. There's a lot of reasons why this could have happened too, but generally speaking, we got Fed meeting today. Dow Jones dropped 200 points. There's a handful of reasons, but also it doesn't really need to have a reason. I think liquidation is probably one of the biggest ones there. And if we look at almost every single altcoin, like literally almost to a T, every single lowest lever area of liquidation got destroyed here today. And that's very, very common. Now, Bitcoin still has lower liquidation levels if we look at the monthly. Let's go ahead and just pull this up here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Really quick, if you're new to the channel, welcome on board. We got a lot of new community members over on our Discord. Please make sure you read through our signals guide and just familiarize yourself with that before you take any trades, because I have a different trading strategy and I like to average in and average out positions. Anyways, when we take a look here, this last 7 days, just for starters, we can see that 68,300 mark. I think it just got swept. Now, I talked about this yesterday. This is what it looks like beforehand. That is the area that I was expecting the price to pull back to. It continued much further down, right? You never truly know how much lower Bitcoin is going to go, but simply put, 67,000 was the overall estimate, and I was expecting that to happen over a few days, not necessarily a few hours, right? And that's totally how it works. So having said that, though, 68,300 got swept, 66,900, roughly that $67,000 mark got taken care of as well. There's really not a lot of liquidation, minus some late longs here at about 64,000. And those are some lower leverage longs, okay? So the probability of getting swept is fairly low at this point, but honestly, I wouldn't put it past Bitcoin is at this rate, because if we do look at the 1 month, this is where things get kind of scary. Again, we have that heavy concentration of liquidation at 72,000. But look at all this liquidation here down as low as 60K. Now, I'm not proposing we're going to see 60,000. I would actually welcome it, because we can add to our spot bags and kind of continue to maintain some more a lower dollar cost average, right? But at this time, is that going to get swept? We just got to recognize there's a lot of greed between now and 60,000. Okay. Now, I'm not proposing that's going to happen. We need a lot of volume to close below 66,000. I don't think that we're going to see that immediately. But again, I thought the same thing yesterday, right? We thought that the price action was going to slowly bleed out to 67,000. Instead, it took a run towards 66,000 and perfectly swept those lower levels. So just keep in mind, we got some areas of liquidation here. Good news is we look on the larger time frames, we don't see much liquidation levels below the price action. It's all above. So my speculation is if the price does continue to run to 60,000, there's a solid chance we're going to see the price recover from there and continue higher to establish higher highs and higher lows on the weekly or monthly time frame. Okay. All right, so that's some foundational stuff to note. All right, back-end stuff that not a lot of people understands or looks at, and it's important just to get a well-rounded understanding of things. Let's look at the macro here a little bit more in depth. Looking at let's start with the daily here. Let's verify, first of all, our point of control. That's roughly where we're at right now at this price action. We're actually just below that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work as a resistance level, but we got to presume it will. In other words, 67,000, if we don't close above that here today, that could very well become the new resistance. Okay. So again, it's a point of control, as we can see, for the last, ever since May 17th, almost a month's worth of trading, basically 3 weeks, we can see here, that level has been a pretty strong support. We're tentatively below it right now, so if we close below it, we can presume that may be the new resistance, and that 60,000 as a worst case scenario would be the next area of liquidation. Okay. And again, I'm just speaking in broad terms here. I'm not proposing we're going to see 60K, but based on liquidation on the last 1 month's worth of trading, again, just to verify this here, you can see 60,000 is that lower level. It's not a heavy, massive concentration, but it's still there, right? Just keep that in mind. That could be just an area that the whales are like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and destroy a lot more of accounts. That way we can have free reign to do what we want, buy it at a lower price point and jack the price up. Okay? So we should experience some kind of pump here soon. It's just a matter of how far the dump goes first, right? So today is probably going to be just one of those either dead cats or essentially just a situation where we see the price action consolidate. We do have a lot of support here too, though, so keep in mind this isn't just an arbitrary range, this green box that I have here, a rectangle essentially. It's basically just an area that we've seen the most amount of volume accumulation and previous supports and resistances. So again, 65 to 67,000 is that support range. My speculation, we might see some range bound activity in this area for a little while. We do take a look though at, again, the more recent point of control, 66 to 67,000 is that rough estimate. We've got the 100 and the 50-day SMA hanging out right there in the middle of that range. Okay, so we got some support here. Losing the 20 isn't like the most monumental thing ever. It just implies that we've broken tentatively bearish. And if we do take a look here, this isn't official yet because the daily candlestick hasn't closed yet, but there's a strong probability we're going to be under 50 in the RSI here at this point. So if that does happen, then, you know, I wouldn't say we shift our mindset towards bearish, but we want to be more mindful that the price action could pull back further. Okay. Again, I see people in our chat talking about, you know, oh, CC is bearish, CC is bullish. No, honestly, that shifts every single time I analyze the charts, right? And again, a lot of it isn't just attaching myself to one bias or the other. I'm trying to understand, you know, and look at both perspectives and both sides and make an analyzed decision. So in that sense here, I just want to recognize and reiterate, it's important to pump the brakes in situations like this and not get too ahead of yourself. I see a lot of my traders getting a little crazy with trades here recently, and I do recommend just kind of staying on the sidelines in most cases, especially with Fed meetings, CPI data, those fundamental catalysts coming into play, because things like this can happen. It was a flip of a coin and the price goes down like this, right? It could equally just as well go up, right? So you got to keep that in mind. Anyways, I'm just trying to say that so you can understand here that these situations here, they're always different, they're always dynamic, and you know, attaching yourself to one thought process or the other can be very problematic. So to me, I try to keep that open dialogue with myself. And at this point here, we've broken bearish. It doesn't mean you just short everything moving forward. That's what I'm trying to get at. Anyways, we're under 50 on the RSI, generally not a favorable sign. MACD is diverging, stochastic RSI swinging down. These are all signs that we saw last night when if you saw my video before the trading candlestick closed, we saw a lot of bearish signs. Again, not all of them were exuding themselves on the daily time frame because the daily was technically bullish. Another reason why I didn't want to go ahead and short a bunch of coins because it didn't make a ton of sense at the time. Now it makes sense, but again, Bitcoin's got everybody to shift their mentality to being bearish, and now a lot of shorts, late shorts, are going to get destroyed too. Okay, there's a lot of things that go on in this. It's a very, very odd situation, the way that things can work out. But let's go ahead and see where we're at on the 4 hour and kind of go from there. We got a stochastic swing to the upside. That's very good. MACD is starting to plateau, so we're starting to see that shift or just that tapered effect there. We can also see RSI and money flow index at this, I wouldn't say a sweet spot, but this is almost perfect. We like to see MFI closer to 20 and RSI closer to 30 if we consider a swing trade to the upside. I would say tight targets here, of course, if you're going to consider one, but generally speaking, that's a favorable sign for the price action pivoting or bouncing off that lower range. Now, again, we've got some support, but we also got to recognize too, we've lost all moving averages. We're now under the 200-day SMA, which is right there at about 67,500. So if you're going to consider a long position, I would highly recommend, you know, tighter targets at this point. I'm not saying the price is going to run or take off from here, but we have broken our ascending trend line, and until we kind of break this current little descending trend itself, there's no reason to presume the price is going to go up from here. Okay, but again, it's hard to warrant or to, you know, say it's good to just go ahead and take a short right now. However, you did take a look here at the Ichimoku cloud. We dropped off a cliff pretty substantially here. We can see the price action is far away from the cloud. There's, you know, no consideration to be above that. Everything here is screaming bearish divergence. Okay, so again, there's no reason to, I would say, take a long at this exact moment. I think sometime tomorrow, right as soon as the Fed meeting starts to broadcast, we get those results. Then I think at that point we can have a better understanding of what direction the market's going to go. That's when I'm planning to strike. In fact, this last Fed meeting, we took what I think it was like 3 or 4 different positions right as the Fed meeting started. and it worked out very, very well. I generally like to do that, so I'm going to probably lean more towards taking a trade tomorrow and avoiding trading today. Again, that's just how I kind of like to work and how I prefer to do things, because at this point, you know, it's always interesting how that works. But fundamental catalysts, it's almost a guarantee you're going to see a wick up or down. Either way, that's kind of where we're at here so far for the daily. The very last thing we can maybe look here at is just kind of seeing where our point of control is here for the day. So if we do take a look at the volume, again, it's going to be kind of weird because it's spread out so far. We see the most amount of volume at the 67,000 mark. Big surprise, that's the support / resistance level. So if we don't close above 67,000 today, it would be safe to presume we're going to be stuck in this range between 65 and 67. If we close above 67 today, there is a chance we could see that relief rally back up to 72K to destroy a whole bunch of shorts. Okay, keep in mind that's still a very heavy concentration, all things considered. I think it's somewhere in the range of $1 billion plus in liquidation. So again, a lot of stuff there, folks. So I know this is kind of a lot to work with, and generally speaking, not the most ideal trading conditions. And truth is, yes, ever since you know, big money's been involved, we got the Bitcoin ETF. The trading cryptocurrency has been, I wouldn't say garbage, maybe just a heaping pile of dog crap. I don't know. There's a lot of words you can use to describe it, but the truth is that trading has been a little bit more challenging than usual. So you have to kind of just shift and work with it. That's just kind of the way it goes. You got to roll and make sure you learn from your mistakes if you're making them, right? I still make mistakes even after 20 years of trading, right? So I'm not perfect. I appreciate you understanding that. And in truth, you know, there's, I think less is more. I think that's a good way to understand it. So try not to get too crazy with trades right now. Wait until we get some, you know, the smoke clears, and sometime, maybe this time tomorrow, we can have better perspective on things and kind of go from there. Either way, I thank you all so much for your support. Hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Make sure you trade Bitunix Phenomenal Exchange. Link down below for an exclusive offer here for a deposit bonus. And then, of course, if you haven't already, join us on, you know, Twitter, TikTok, Telegram, YouTube. We got the shorts now as well. It's a lot of fun. So I appreciate the feedback, folks. Hope you all have a good rest of the day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.